just started with him by saying that no, he's not back right
How
now.
about Patrick?
Patrick was limited to like some player development stuff, and really that's nothing new. He's doing a little bit more each day.
What is player development stuff?
Just like skill work, pick and pops, ball handling, shooting, non-contact. He has not been in any contact situation at all. So, but he's there. I think he's able to see what's going on, and Patrick's an older guy. He's bright, so I think he's absorbing and retaining what we're doing. I think we're maximizing his day as best we can, considering he can't do anything contact-wise. So it's been good so far.
You guys, with Ennis gone, don't have a lot of people who have NBA minutes at center on the roster.
Right.
Is Jeremy playing 5 something that you see more? Are there other methods that you
Yeah,
could see
I mean,
happening?
I think the versatility and the flexibility of moving around those guys is something that we need to look at, and guys playing multiple different positions. I think we have the ability. I mean, Carmelo's been a guy that's played, the small forward spot and power forward spot throughout his career. A guy like Andre's got versatility. We've used him in years past the power forward spot. Jeremy, in particular games last year, played some 5. I think having Dakari here, he's obviously more of a true center, obviously. Steven, at times when we've played big, has shifted to the power forward spot. So I think the ability to have some flexibility in our front court in terms of playing some different lineups will be a positive.
Do you think Jeremy at the 5 is something that you can only do against particular types of lineups, or do you feel comfortable with playing him at a 5 against like an actual more conventional center?
I think at times you can do that. I think at times you can do that. A lot depends on the player, personnel, those kind of things. But Jeremy's strong. He's got length. He may not have necessarily the size or the height of a center, but he's got the length to be able to alter and challenge shots. He's a really good rim protector. With the way the NBA game is played right now, you're dealing with 4, generally spaced behind a 3-point line, and somebody's along the baseline, and I think Jeremy has proven to be a really good shot blocker and a rim protector. So, I mean, every situation could be potentially a little bit different. It was a little bit more challenging getting him there last year just because of the depth we had at the power forward spot with Taj and Steven and Ennis. We were such a bigger, different team. But Jeremy, in situations last year, not a lot, did play some center.
Billy, the other day, Carmelo called you young NBA coach. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, this is only my 3rd year, so it's not like I am 52, but I like the fact that he's calling me young. That's a good thing, I guess. But like obviously this is my 3rd year. I've said this before. Hopefully, I try to keep working to get better and improve and help these guys. Compared to him, obviously he's been in this league for a long, long time. I've enjoyed being around him in practice and communicating with him and talking to him. Certainly he's got a wealth of experience and has been through quite a bit, in between the lines. There's probably not anything he hasn't seen. And, he's a veteran guy that is really, really well respected.
You've always prided yourself on the teaching aspect of the game and the development. This is another year with a whole other feel than the last 2 years.
Right.
Do you sort of relish the challenge of this, or how do you look at all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think like anything else, I think there's ingredients and things that go into a team becoming successful. And I don't think per se because your personnel changes that those qualities or those rules, they're not my rules. I think they're just the game's rules that you have to do in order to be a good team. And I think for someone like a Carmelo that's been in the league for a long time, Russell, Paul George, Patrick Patterson, even Steven to a certain standpoint, even though he's relatively young, they start to see more and more about what goes into becoming a good team. And regardless of the personnel and how you're playing, there's just certain things that good teams have to do in order to be good.
Like Terrence was just saying that you give him confidence, you tell him to play his game, that sort of thing. For a guy that young who's in this situation, what are you trying to get from him right now? What are you trying to work with him on?
The thing I've been really, really most impressed with him is he has got obviously great open floor speed, but he's a high-level defender who lacks a lot of experience right now. He's going to be a terrific defender. I think there's probably some things in the NBA game that are totally different from his experience even overseas or in high school. So I think he's going to have to learn that. You know, part of Andre being such a great defender is not only the fact that he has the ability, it's also that he has the experience to go along with it, and that's what Terrence is going to need. The other part that I really like about him is I think a lot of times young players who are gifted offensively kind of try to do too much, and they kind of figure out when should I shoot, when should I pass, you know, what can I actually take from my game and inject in the course of playing 5-on-5. He doesn't do anything he's not capable of doing. You know, he moves the ball, you know, 1 or 2 dribbles, he takes open shots. He's really, really, really physical in terms of he's not afraid to put his body in place. Now, I know he's got to get stronger, but the first part to me of becoming a good player at this level, or any level for that matter, is you have to be willing to put your body in place. He does not shy away from contact. He puts his nose in there. So to me, it's just a lack of experience that he has right now, but he has the ability, I think, and the ingredients to be a very good player.
He talked about the physicality of that league, that Australian league. Do you think some of that
I think that helped. You know, you're watching situations, when I watched him on tape, you're watching situations where at times he's playing against older guys and he maybe had gotten overpowered, but like he blocks out on every possession. When he comes over to help, he'll throw his body in to help. He'll take a charge. He doesn't shy away from contact, you know, and the physicality part of it, you know, is one thing where he'll learn leverage and, you know, when he maybe is in position where he's vulnerable to get pushed. But it's not like he's avoiding that. And that is, I think, going to be a huge part of his game, is not only his foot speed and his ability to defend, but that he's not physically afraid to put himself in there.
You have a team from Melbourne coming in about a week. Just from watching film of him or anything else, you know, what can you tell us about what you guys might expect?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for me, I probably wasn't watching the film zeroing in on their team at that point in time. I was really, really trying to watch Terrence, and I think I maybe said this when we selected him. You know, is there was games he didn't start, there was games he had to come off the bench, there was games where long possessions or long sequences in games where he never touched the ball. He was never deterred. He never pouted or, you know, didn't do what he had to do to stay engaged in the game, whether it be, you know, defending or running the floor. Certainly he was not a primary focus offensively in terms of them running a lot of things for him. Their team, to the question, I didn't focus on it like that. I was kind of really trying to focus in on him.
Yeah,
Coach,
I know without Russell being available much, you haven't seen that first group together a ton, but are you starting to, and maybe the answer to this is that it doesn't matter who's out there, but have you started to get a sense of what's going to make you guys most effective offensively, how that's going to look, most efficient?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question because Russell's not out there, but the one thing that has kind of permeated through our team up to this point in time is Carmelo and Paul's ability to pass the ball. Like, the ball is moving at a level that I feel really, really good about. And I think when you have really good offensive players like Carmelo and Paul George doing that, they're generating good shots for other people, you know, because of the attention that they get offensively. They're finding open people. The ball's moving well right now, and we need to keep that going. Today was probably the most we did in terms of competitively going up and down the floor and competing in live play. And there was a lot of random situations where I was, you know, we've really we've obviously put in offense and we've put inside of bounds, but I'd say the majority of our practice has been trying to establish our defense. Mm-hmm. And instinctively they're doing things that they're really trying to play the right way, which has been great to watch.
Dre said that you brought in a Navy SEAL today. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I wasn't in there. I wanted those guys to spend time with him. You know, I just think that there's always different ways that you can learn from different people through different experiences. And I think, you know, so much of what these guys do, people see physically what they do between the lines, but the mental ability to be able to come out every day and to practice and perform and play is probably much, much greater mentally than it is physically. Now, they've obviously got to take care of their bodies and eat well and get their rest and hydrate, get all that. But there's also a part where, you know, every person kind of lives with themselves and they live with their own thoughts and they live with different experiences that they internalize. And I think, you know, having different people talk about, you know, the mental approach, and I think from a Navy SEAL's perspective of, you know, what they do as it relates to their training, what they do as it relates to their preparation, I thought there could be some correlations that our guys can really take from that may be helpful in helping them get prepared for what they do.
Anybody else? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.